Hi everyone, it's RASA von Werder, RASAVONWERDER, from the University of Mother God Church. Look me up on womanthouartgod.com, a 6,000-page university I put together in 3 years at the cost of $50,000. And look me up. My stage name when I was a dancer, model, actress, stripper for God, Kellie Everts, KELLIEEVERTS. I strip for God, or just plain KellieEverts.com. And all my books, I have 20 written and published books by me, illustrated, most of them by pictures of me and my models. I have photography books. I'm a photographer, so look me up. All right, talking about Reverend Verna Talbot, my first living guru in California, and how I wanted her anointing, but she was flawed, and about her flaws, and about her good points and her bad points. So Reverend Verna Talbot was a kleptomaniac. She was an egomaniac. She was manipulating me to get money out of me a lot, getting me to finance her trips to gamble in Las Vegas, and she supposedly always had the number, but then the one number would be wrong, and she never won that big jackpot. But I had to pay for her trip to Vegas again and again and again. It was about $250 each trip in those days. And all the shit she pulled on me, and I'm trying to think what else. She made me pay for everything. I wasn't rich. I was just a working girl. I remember it was unbearable. It was unbearable. I remember when I couldn't take it anymore at one point. I couldn't take it anymore. And her birthday was coming up, and I paid for everything. I bought her birthday cake and whatever food we would share, and I made the phone calls, and maybe she made some of them, but I think I called everybody that she knew and I knew. We got about 15 people. She had two sons, I don't know, they're probably still alive, 2 sons, invited them. And oh, I forgot one other thing. She had some land in New Mexico, and she said it was the only land that had a well on it. And she said that we were going to use that to build a church in the future. That's what she said. Therefore, she wanted me to pay for the land, and the land was $160 a month. I paid for it. This is going on for like, I don't know, 6 months or more. So on her birthday, everybody came, and she went into a trance to channel something. And while she was in the trance, she said that what she really cared about was her sons, and that she had land and she was going to leave it to her sons. That came out somehow. I don't remember exactly, whatever, but it came out here, and I knew I was being used. Whatever anointing she had, whatever, I was being used. She's not even thinking of leaving me anything, and I'm paying for this fucking land to build a church on. And the next day, I told her, I'm leaving. I'm leaving. Her apartment, I didn't tell her I'm leaving you. I didn't explain everything. I just said I'm leaving. She tried to stop me. But I didn't let her. And I left. And I was staying in a hotel. She put a curse on me. And a young 19-year-old, which we found out later, black guy, started to follow me and stalk me everywhere I went. And then he had me cornered in my hotel, and he kept calling me up and saying he was going to rape me, dead or alive. This went on for 2 hours. I called the police They were trying to trace the call, but it took, in those days, you can trace a call today really, really fast. Bang, just like that. In those days, it took hours. And they had me talking to him on the phone. I was totally scared and spooked out. The guy had already threatened me before, and so I knew a detective from the police force. And after 2 hours of listening to him saying how he was going to rape me, and dead or alive, I couldn't take it anymore. And I called up that detective and I said, I need you to come and get me and bring your gun, because that guy is stalking me. He said he's got somebody walking around the motel. I'm scared for my life. And I did look out the window of the bathroom and I did see a black guy walking up and down. So I thought maybe that might be his accomplice stalking me, because he didn't know what room number I was in. He knew I was in this motel, but he didn't know which room number, and he wanted to rape me no matter what. Okay, so I called this detective. This is how I left California. I called this detective and I said, come here, get me, bring your gun, get me out of here. I'm leaving. I'm going to the airport and going back to New York. I've had it. I've had it with California. He came. He came. He brought his gun. Took me in the car. There was only one slight hitch. He was gonna, I didn't let him, but he was going to try to have sex with me. He took me to the parking lot of his apartment and he said, we had to go in there. I said, no, I'm not going in there. He argued with me for 20 minutes. I said, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I've had enough. I've had enough. Take me, please, to the airport, okay? And he did. He took me to the airport. And I went back to New York. And I said, I'll never come back to California. And I did. Of course I came back to California to do a TV show, the Tom Snyder Show. They paid me. They paid my way and everything. Yes, in 1976 I came back. Okay, but my point, why am I telling you this just for nothing? I'm telling you this to explain something. She put a curse on me because I left her. I swear to God. I'm not joking. I called her after that. I called her and told her the story, and I could tell by her voice she was joyful. She was happy. I could tell by her voice. She was happy that her curse worked. Because how dare I leave her because I would stop giving her money. Just for the money. Just for the money I gave her, she wanted to see me dead if I stopped giving her that money. Wanted to see me dead. But God didn't want to see me dead. Now, it happened again. I got back with her. I went back to New York. We became friends again. She even visited me. And she said, anybody that lives where you live here, they got to be a saint. I was living in Williamsburg when it was not what it is today. In a big apartment. But it wasn't redecorated. I redecorated it later when I got wealthy. So she came and visited me, stayed with me and everything. I tried to leave her again. Again, another guy, happened to be black, tried to kill me. And I'll just briefly tell you, the story. I was doing community organizer work for the Italian American Civil Rights League, and I was put together a job, getting kids signed up for jobs, for summer jobs. And it was quite a job. It was quite a, what's the word, project is what I meant to say, quite a project. And I got this restaurant to give them free calzones and free pizza while they were standing in line for job applications. And there were like 50 people in line for an hour or two. And it was very nice that the restaurant agreed. And I got a picture, and I called the newspaper, and I got my picture in the paper, and it said the name of my church was One World Light, which was Verna's name of her church, her religion, One World Light. And this guy, who happened to be a black guy, looked up One World Light, and I had my number listed under One World Light. He called me up and said he was a producer and he wanted to do a movie of me, a documentary. And I took the bit, and Verna, said, oh, there's going to be a movie on us. There's going to be publicity. There's going to be a movie. This was not what she saw. She saw what was going to happen was Real People, because Real People was going to come up soon after that. But I thought, oh, that must be what Verna saw, this guy. His name is Jay Crawford. Okay, to be continued.